for a team that has been really aspiring for the type of season you're having right now for several years to be here and to be experiencing this now, how have they reacted to the success and being nationally ranked, and how have you coached them to react to the current season that you're having?
Really just one day at a time. And it's a good place for these guys to be, especially with not having a June and July together. But it just shows that camaraderie, the opportunity that presents itself, but also the bumps in the road that we've had, whether it's injuries, tough losses, not ready to play in games, youth, whatever it is that helps you become a good team. We've been through that, we've seen it. And so I just think a lot of those lessons, though painful, you learn from them. And it's just basketball. I know it's a high-level game, tomorrow, two talented teams. But, man, you go out there and put forth your best effort and let the chips fall where they may.
Gabe?
Cuonzo, I know you've said about a few teams they're ranked where they're ranked for a reason. So what makes Tennessee deserving of being the preseason favorite and the top 10 team in the country?
Well, I think they have all the parts. Good guard play. They have really good interior play. And not only do the interior guys score, but they try to defend and try to compete, And again, I say try because it's easier said than done, but they try to guard you, try to be physical, do it without fouling, rebound the basketball, run the floor, all the things that you ask from your players. I think they try to exude that. And then when you have your roster returning, then you add talented young players who are just as good as guys that are starting. But not only that, with the freshmen, they have a desire to play defense, and I think that has a lot to do with their DNA because you watch them on the grassroots circuit, you see they had a level of toughness to them, but also the culture that's presented there with Rick Barnes' program that you have to come in, you have to be a part of this, and these are some of the things that we expect of you. So a smooth transition there.
Andrew Coffin?
Coach, I know it's been a while since you were the head coach of Tennessee, but does it mean anything more to you, especially with this matchup being as big as it is for you to?
Not at all. That ball game, when the buzzer sound, move on to the next one.
Dave Matter.
Cuonzo, what about their size is impressive or presents a challenge? And they block a lot of shots, it looks like, and then just inside, it's tough to score on them.
I think they play, really good team defense, good one-on-one defense, and then good team defense. And they put you in situations where you have to be able to make one-on-one plays. And that's what, in most cases, what the defensive teams do. They force you to do things that you're not comfortable with doing, and they play the percentages. And if you're not good at doing that, eventually you might make a play here, you might make one or two plays, but eventually down the stretch of ball games, it probably worked in their hands. So I just think they're a good team defense. And anytime you have Pons, who's a really good shot blocker, but also a guy that can defend 1 through 5, and we say that all the time, but he can really do that. He might not show on the stats, but he covers up a lot of areas for their team with his ability to block a shot, make a play on the defense and assignment. So he does all those things very well.
Bennett?
Cuonzo, with them being a team that balances the scoring well, too, I think 4 guys averaging double digits. What's the toughest thing about defending them?
You have to be good one-on-one defense. Your help side defense has to be great. They have to be in position. But your one-on-one defense first has to be good because they have guys that can make plays off the dribble. So if they're constantly getting in the paint, you can have a lot of problems on your hands because your defense breaks down. And they're big and physical enough, even on the perimeter, to get to the rim and finish against your big guys. So now you help up, and they can dump it off to their big guys and make plays. But your one-on-one defense has to be good first. And then whatever your assignments are as far as stopping what they do, you have to be good at that as well.
Eric?
Cuonzo, I kind of have the same question Gabe asked you, but about your team. What about your team makes you deserving of the number 12 ranking? And media and the coaches picked you 10th in the preseason poll. You're number 2 in terms of your ranking right now. Why is there that gap there, do you think, too?
Well, I think 10 is fair, still in conference play because we haven't played a conference game yet. So that's still fair. That's where they picked us. But, I mean, to say if we're 12 and to say we earned it, I think we earned it because if you'd had 50 teams in the top 50, we weren't one of those top 50. So somebody had to pick us to get to this point, and we had to earn our way to get to this point. So I can safely say we earned that part. Now it's the next part of conference play. You still have to do your job there.
Colin.
Hey, Cuonzo, this Tennessee team hasn't really been tested since those first 2 games. Are you still scouting the games they're playing against St. Joseph's and Tennessee Tech, or are you going back and looking more at Colorado and Cincinnati?
Oh, you have to watch them all. You have to watch them all because you can always find something. The one thing I've found, even in my time, at Missouri State as a coach, and I'm saying this respectfully, but when you feel like you have a little less than when you're playing Power 5 schools, you find different ways to try to win games, as opposed to what you would do within your own conference. So when some of those teams that you assume probably less than, they do different things. You can pick up 1 or 2 things that are very effective in helping you win a basketball game. So those are probably just as more important, because when it's kind of head-to-head matchup, you figure both you have enough, and somewhat your ego won't allow you to, let me try this to win the game. So you kind of go do what you do best. But you can learn a lot of lessons from those teams, yes.
Karen.
Happy holidays, Coach. How are you?
Thank you, Karen. I'm sensational.
Yes, you are. Let me just ask you, how proud of your team are you right now? I mean, they got the chance to go home. They came back. They're focused on a huge game. And, you see with coming back in football where they weren't even able to play a game because we still are dealing with that virus out there. So how proud are you of your guys? Because it sounds like they followed every instruction.
Good question, Karen. I think first and foremost, I'm proud of those guys, what they did in the classroom, and we can't lose sight of that. So they did a great job in the classroom. And this is, I think I would really appreciate what these guys are doing right now, and not so much the ranking, but what they've tried to accomplish and stayed the course and been steadfast in their approach 15, 20 years down the road, because these are not easy times, and maybe the smile on my face might present that, but these are not easy times for no one in society. But just sports kind of give us a peace of mind to try to have some fun in this thing. Hopefully we can present some fun to our fans on Wednesday night. But I'm proud of the guys because they don't complain. They don't make a lot of excuses. They stay the course. They know life is hard, and they probably heard me say this so much. So they understand life is hard. So this is joy. They presented a scholarship, and some might say, man, I could use a few more dollars, coach. You have all that, but they appreciate what they have, and they don't take that part for granted. And so I'm proud of them for all those things. And again, I think years down the road, I really appreciate these times because again, these are not fun times or good times for anybody.
Sweetie.
Yeah, Cuonzo, just was wondering, do you feel maybe your team is a little refreshed? I know you guys are coming off a few long layoffs between games, but just a few days to just mentally reset over the holidays?
Mentally reset, I think so, but I think you might see some sluggish legs early tomorrow just because both teams have had layoffs, really, especially at holiday layoffs. So you had this. So that first 5 minutes, hopefully it's a beauty, but it could go the other way just because just getting your legs up under you, because that's a long time off. You try to duplicate game situations, which is hard to do in practice sometimes.
Greg.
Cuonzo, I know that there are only so many minutes to go around and the rotations have to be what they are, but what do you hope to see more from guys like Ed and Torrance to get them out on the court?
Oh, good question. Really, really fighting hard to get Torrance on the court. And that probably sounds crazy being that I'm the head coach, but just want to see him on that floor. I think Ed is making a tremendous amount of progress, but not quite there yet. But I think Torrance is I'm hopeful he can be on the floor and get in heavy rotations. I've said to him many times we need him out there.
Jack.
Cuonzo, I know it's been a while since the Bradley game, but what from that film can you kind of take away and kind of like areas of improvement for your team?
Well, Jack, the first thing we would take away is that W, so that's what makes you feel good. But man, it's just, I think with COVID, we had to play the game that day, but it was originally scheduled maybe the 6th, the 9th, somewhere around there. That's not a game you want to play on the 22nd going into the holidays. You can show all the film you want to show to your players about this is a really good team. It's a different kind of game when you're playing against Illinois and the Braggers Rights game because the stage sets itself, and it's you would say equal opponents, so to speak. And I don't want to be disrespectful to Bradley because I think they're a very good team, but your guys go into that game understanding what it'll be like. Trying to prepare your guys to say, man, Bradley is tough. And you can show them all the film, 2 straight Missouri Valley championships. You have to learn the hard way. And fortunately for us, we got out of there with a win. But you can take away from it. We didn't rebound. We gave 13 offensive rebounds the first half. I thought we were a step slow. We just did enough to buckle down that last 3/3 in the game to win it.
Got time for 2 more. Dave?
Cuonzo, I know you're not looking at everybody in the league yet and just getting ready for these first couple of games, but just how hard do you think it is to measure who's who in the league this year when some teams have played just a couple games and you guys have played several high majors and others haven't? Is it just impossible to get a read right now?
I think so, and it's hard because not only that, when you're talking COVID, hadn't played games, but also the turnaround in our league, because probably not every year, but every other year, maybe every 2 years, this league has, when you have so many potential pro prospects, they're in school for a year, they're in school for 2 years, and they're gone. So now you're building a new team. And I think moving forward, you'll probably see that with the one-time transfer. You'll probably see 5, 6 different guys on each roster every year. But it's just hard now because teams haven't played games. I think Georgia might have played 9 games, and it might be the most. So yeah, it's just hard to gauge. And league play is different because everybody knows everybody, and the details have to be at a high level, and we'll see.
All right, Gabe?
Cuonzo, you've been pretty clear about your affinity for rankings and polls this year, and I'm sure you like to keep up to date with what your fans are angry about on social media. Any thoughts on voters that don't have you in the top 25 at this point?
Not at all. I mean, not at all. I mean, I'm not sure if that even it really matters, unless it's my wife or my mother or my daughter or somebody. Then it really doesn't matter, to be honest with you, because again, you have the right to pick whoever you want to pick, and as long as they're not one of my friends. And if they're one of my friends, call me and tell me about it. But if not, I'm not worried about it.
All right. Thank you, guys.